Hello everybody and welcome to another video from CarlsTechShed. Right, what I've got for you today is this. It is a Sky Gnome. Now for those of you that don't know what this is, it's basically a DAB, it's like a DAB digital radio receiver, but instead of picking up a DAB signal, it links into the Sky TV receiver box. So the Skybox sends out a 433 MHz signal over to this, and it's then decoded, and you can change the channels, change the radio stations, all from the front panel here, and it displays information very similar to how a DAB digital radio would. Now this one I picked up at the car boot sale today for 50p. It's in quite bad shape. It's got a lot of paint splatters over it and some yellowing to the plastic at the back where it's been in the sunlight. So I thought, why not just tear it down and see what's inside it. Okay, well now that all the boring stuff's out of the way, all of the plastic and other bits and pieces, I can show you what was actually inside it. Now what we've got here, we've got a couple of boards here which are linked by this small 8-pin ribbon cable. We've got on the front, we've got a series of these plastic membrane switches for various different functions, which are mentioned both on the front of the plastic casing and on the PCB itself. Now up here we've got a couple more. We've got a sky button, which is probably for linking it to the Skybox, and we've got a power off button. Whether that also functions as a power on button, I'm not entirely sure. What we've got on the back here is just this small flex PCB which links into the LCD on the other side, and then this goes through a hole in the PCB and connects underneath. Now we've got a small microcontroller here. This is an 8-bit microcontroller, which I looked the part number up on Google, and it's a 8-bit microcontroller. We've got another small chip up here which I think is something to do with the display controller. Now we've got, this was quite interesting. You usually see these sort of things in older car stereos. This is an RDS modulator, so it picks up the information such as traffic updates and such, and converts that back from the signal so that it can be displayed on the screen. Now we've also got a small PIC microcontroller here as well. It's a PIC 18F1320. Now there's not much else on here. There's an analog to digital converter for the speakers, and there's a small amplifier chip. This connector here just went over to this external board here, which was for power and an external audio output. On here we've got a couple of resistors, a few discrete components, and again a small amplifier chip and a crystal. Now what was on the other side of this was this small can. Now this originally had the lid on it, but I've taken this off. It has this small quad flat pack chip in here. Now you can't really see it very well on the video. This is actually Philips branded. However, I typed the part number into Google. I couldn't find anything, any information on it whatsoever. The only link it came up with was a Chinese website which was selling it. But unlike most other chips, where you just type in the part number and you'll get dozens and dozens of websites with data sheets and information about it, there was no information on this whatsoever. So I can only assume, being inside the can, this is going to be for picking up the digital signal and modulating it down so that it can be used by the rest of the board. So this would be relatively probably quite a cheap part to fit into here. That's probably why they've gone for this part. Maybe it's obsolete, I'm not sure. Maybe they've just chosen it because it's cheap and it does the job. I can't see what's underneath the rest of this because it's all canned out, and I don't have my hot air desoldering gun right here at the moment, so I don't think there'd be very much interesting under here. Probably a few capacitors, a few resistors, maybe a few other ICs, but nothing too exciting. The rest of what's on this board is just capacitors. There's a crystal there. These are all going to be for audio amplification. There's a small connector on the side here, which is a series of 5 gold pins. Now, I'm guessing most likely this is going to be for initial configuration, because it does mention on the spec sheet of this Gnome that it does have an RS-232 interface, so I'm guessing this could be something to do with that. So you could initially, when they make these, or if they want to service them, they can connect this in, and they could modify it or find out any information about its usage and so on. But apart from that, it's a relatively simple board. There's a lot less in here than most DAB radios, and that's probably because it does have the it just picks up the signal from the skybox rather than from a DAB digital broadcast. So in all honesty, it doesn't look too badly made. I noticed a large bodge wire over here linking from the microcontroller over to the RDS modulator, so they've probably just realised that at the last minute after they've run the boards into production. I noticed a date code on here somewhere, I think it was just here, which was, if I can get the light right, there we go, 0543, so I'm guessing that would be the 43rd week of 2005. Anyone is welcome to correct me on that if I'm wrong, or if that's not a date code. But yeah, that's pretty much it. One other little thing, there was just a headphone socket which goes onto the front, because when this is in use, this board is mounted almost vertically like this, and then this board sits on the bottom, so this is just for a headphone connection. But apart from that, it's pretty well made, I suppose. Cheap enough for Sky to turn them out in the millions and give them away to their customers as a sweetener to sign up for Sky at sort of 50 quid a month. So in all honesty, it's not too bad, I suppose. I've never used one of these things, but if anyone has, I'd welcome your input to know what they would like to use. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll have a few more teardown videos done quite soon.